It's time for our annual stocking stuffer video.
In this episode of Little Big Thumbs. Welcome to Little Big Thumbs, the channel that's all about finding games that are equally fun for little players and big players. My name is Milo.
And I'm JP.
And today we're going to be discussing stocking stuffers, the games that we want to find in our stockings, or maybe your stockings.
Maybe so, maybe so. We know what's coming next. It's time for some rock, paper, scissors.
Yep,
Are you
let's
ready?
go.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Oh.
Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Oh.
Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Oh. Oh my God.
You sounded like Santa there.
That might have been your first rock, paper, scissors win of the year, Milo.
I've been literally practicing. It sounds silly, but at home, Hannah and I, whenever we have to, decide who does the dishes or whatever, we do a little rock, paper, scissors, and I've been winning, so.
Wow, I've not been practicing, so it's clearly has paid off.
All right, my first game that I'm going to talk about is Paku Paku, which is designed by Antoine Bauza. It is a quick game for 2 to 8 players. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to play. It's published by Ravensburger. And in this game, you are all pandas that have come to this annual competition of sorts. And it's kind of chaotic. Everybody's turn takes place simultaneously. There's dice that you roll, and based on the side of the die that you roll, a different action occurs. If there's a happy little green-faced panda, you just pass your die to another player. If there's a red symbol of stacked dishes, you have to take a dish, which is either a plate, a bowl, or a cup, and stack it onto the stack and try to not tip it over. Or if there's a number, you simply ignore the number for now, but they can be penalty points later. So simultaneously, you roll your dice, and the dice that you start with is determined by the number of players. And you roll these dice as fast as possible, passing dice along until one of two things happens. You're either going to knock over the stack of dishes, or somebody will end up with a certain number of dice. And again, that number is based on the amount of players that you have. But at that time, when one of those two things happens, everyone yells, "Stop!" And then the player that has that threshold of dice or knocked over the tower is going to roll the dice that are currently in front of them. And whatever number they roll, just the numbers, are penalty points. The game ends when there are 10 penalty points, and whoever has less than that wins. There's only one loser, but it's a quick game, so you can play it multiple times. It's easy to reset between rounds, and it's very chaotic and fun.
Right. Yeah. Paku Paku. I didn't know. I mean, I knew of this game prior to this year, because I think it was
2017?
2017, and
Yeah.
it's still in print now.
Yeah.
8 years later, almost a decade later, it's still in print, which speaks to its goodness, how how solid of a game it is. And
Yeah.
of course, you know how much I love a good dexterity game.
I do.
And this is absolutely a great dexterity game. I am no good at it. I don't think I will ever stand a chance of winning, but I always have a great time when I play. So I guess my question for you, Milo, is why did this make it onto your list of
Yeah.
stocking stuffers for 2025?
That's a great question. I really loved how quick it was for a dexterity game. In terms of dexterity games themselves, they're not typically the game that I'm drawn to. I think that's because a lot of dexterity games I find just to be a little too long for me personally. I'm playing the game and I'm enjoying it, and then I'm like, you know what, this is overstayed its welcome. I think I'm done. But Paku Paku ends just before I get there, and so I'm enjoying the whole time I'm playing that game. It's quick, it's simple, it's chaotic, it has my attention the whole time.
My pick for number one, I'm going to call it an unconventional pick because my first game is a print and play game from Shiny Pigeon Games. We've covered a few of their games in the past, and they've got this line of games that is like a single page of paper. Like you purchase the game, you can print off a number of sheets equal to the number of players, and then pretty much you're ready to go. And the name of this game is called Packing Party. And there are two boards of Packing Party to play with. The one that I'm talking about today is called Santa's Helpers. Packing Party, Santa's Helpers. So very timely for this particular video. And this is a roll and write polyomino game where players, they print off their pages and they need to supply six different colored pencils and six dice. And you pair together the colored pencils and one of the dice each round, and then you roll the dice, and then everybody drafts one die with its paired coloring utensil, and then you color a shape. It's a polyomino type of game where you are these shapes are representing the particular gifts that orphaned children are going to be receiving from Santa's helpers, and so it's kind of got a wholesome theme behind it,
Mhm.
and it's nice. I mean, I like coloring. I like there's just enough thinkiness there to keep me occupied. And the game, I would say, lasts about 30 minutes. Can play 1 to 6 players, and I just think it's lovely. I love a one-page print-to-play game, and Shiny Pigeon Games hasn't let me down so far. And so, Packing Party is on my list there. And you've played this one time now.
I did. Yeah, I only played it once, but I had a great time. I mean, I love roll and writes in general, and the fact that this was a Christmas themed roll and write, sign me up. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we played with scented coloring pencils, so that was another layer of
I
added
forgot about
fun.
that.
My question for you
Yeah.
is, despite it being Christmas themed,
Mm.
can you see you and the girls playing this throughout the rest of the year?
Well, for sure. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I think that, I mean, coloring has a universal appeal for kids for sure. And it's become like more widely accepted for adults to get in on the fun
That's
of
true.
coloring as well. Um, and so for that aspect, and the fact that there's not just a Christmas themed sheet of this, there's
That's
also
true.
the other one's called Moving Day, where you of course are packing your boxes
Nice.
nicely to be shipped to a new home, and it's got a lot to offer. If it's great for traveling, if we just want to kind of pack a binder full of single page things
Yeah.
to do on the road or bring on a lunch date or what have you. It's got lots of flexibility in that way. But also, the fact is that you pay. I don't know what the price is that was on the recent Kickstarter for this game. I imagine that it's probably under $10,
Mhm.
and then you've got yourself this game that you didn't have to pay for shipping for. It's available to print anytime you like, and it's got a lot of replayability, especially because in this particular one there's like the basic mode where the six shapes are defined in advance.
Mhm.
There's also the advanced mode, which is the one you played, where at the beginning of the game you do a random roll to
Right.
determine which shape each die value will be paired with. Um, and so it's got that variety.
Mhm.
It's got, I don't know, it's just got a lot going on
Yeah.
for it. And as a stocking stuffer, the idea that you can kind of package it like with probably a little ribbon,
Mhm.
you can print it out. Shiny Pigeon Games also, they made, I think, a greeting card to go along with this so that
Cute.
you can print out a greeting card, you can fold it up and say, here, scan this QR code or what have you,
Oh, I love
and
that.
just you have instant access to this. So I think it's a unique game as a stocking
Mhm.
stuffer that isn't a boxed product. It's just something a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. Like, we've talked about a lot of different print and plays throughout the channel, but the fact that it's taken us until now to add one to the like stocking stuffer videos, I think that this is such a perfect game to put into a stocking stuffer. Stockings can get pretty expensive, especially like if you're getting a lot of tiny things and stuffing them in there, but
Yeah.
print and plays are a great way of still getting a board game, but maybe one that's a little more affordable. And I had a great time playing Packing Party, so yeah. Next up, we're going to be talking about Ringer, which is my second pick for stuffing stalkers, published by MindWare, and it's about 20 to 30 minutes, 2 to 6 players, and it is, I would say, like ages 8 and up. It's so unpredictable, honestly. I've played it a couple times now, and both plays were very, very different, but it's kind of Uno-like in a sense. There are cards that you're going to match by either the numbers or the colors. Essentially, if there's, say, let's a blue 5 on top of the stack, you have to play a number 1 lower or higher than the 5. So a 3 or sorry, not a 3, a 4 or a 6 of the same color or a number 5 of a different color. There are also some special actions that throw in a twist every now and then. There's cards that let you steal cards from somebody else. There are cards that let you interrupt somebody's turn. Yeah, it can be pretty unpredictable. It's really fun, and 20 to 30 minutes is, I would consider, like, relatively quick too. So I've had a lot of fun playing it. I know that you and I played it,
Yes.
and I don't know if you had as much fun, but I, take, responsibility for that. My first turn was just, like, very, very lucky. I played, like, half of the deck in my first turn, which seems wild, but
So the thing I think that maybe wasn't mentioned is that when you got your cards in hand and you play cards, do the matchy match and whatnot to play your cards out. But if you run out of cards in your hand,
mm.
you just get to draw a new hand of cards and keep playing.
Yeah, you keep playing until you can't play anymore, and I could just continue to play for it felt like forever.
As the person who is getting to play 40 cards in a row, that's, tremendously fun. But as the person who is watching someone else play 40 cards in a
Mhm,
row, waiting 10 minutes for your first turn, it's like it can be a little bit frustrating in that sense. But that being said, I've only played the game once, and number one, I don't think it necessarily shines as a two-player experience.
mm,
Uh, but but I can also appreciate why someone who enjoys Uno, who enjoys even something like Sushi Go, would appreciate Ringer.
yeah.
It is the cards are positively stunning.
Oh, yeah.
There's not any like particularly cutesy artwork. It's just really well designed, really colorful. And so, like everything about it, I'm like, yeah, I understand why that works. I
Mhm,
understand why that works. I understand why people would like that. But I also, at the same time, can appreciate why, where some frustration might come into play. But I think that's the case with a game that is kind of mass markety, kind of simple, but really appealing all around. It's not going to appeal to everybody.
mhm.
Um, but I could see so many families having a
Yeah.
great time with this on Christmas morning or any time that I think it plays up to 6 players.
Mhm.
So it large-ish group friendly. Um,
Yeah, I think that it really shines at higher player counts, and I was thinking about why maybe I, got to play so many cards when we played that one and only game. Um, but I think that's because I only had one opponent, and one of the cards that exists in the game is it's called the takeover card, and it lets you interrupt somebody else's turn. And with only one other opponent, the chances of my turn being interrupted were so low. And I think that's part of why I was able to like combo so many times and just keep going and going because nobody interrupted me. So I do think that this game, it's very different with more players. Yeah, so I agree with what you've said.
all right, all right, and I acknowledge the value of Ringer as a stocking stuffer pick, even if it wasn't my absolute favorite game I played this year. My second pick of this video is called Karnak. This is from the folks at DVC Games, who we have positively gushed about
Mhm.
over the last year or two here at Little Big Thumbs. And this is another one that takes like some familiar concepts and delivers it in a game that a game experience, something like I've never
Mm.
experienced before. So the idea of Karnak is that the Pharaoh has called us to build some fantastic structures for them, and we're building these structures using various little pieces of wood, placing them on the kind of the trademark cloth boards that DVC is known for, and it's got like a dexterity-esque aspect to it, but it's not a dexterity game.
Mhm.
It is a game where we are either taking two yellow pieces from the supply and adding them to the board, and you don't have to place them flat on the ground. You can build on top of each other. You can create little angles and things
Mhm.
um, to create structures. There, you can do sort of a trade action where you remove one yellow piece and replace it with a white piece. It doesn't have to go in the same place, though. It can go anywhere. You're just replacing that piece anywhere on the board. And then the last thing you can do is to do a draw, where you're drawing three new cards. And these design cards, they're called
Yes.
design cards. When you have these design cards, these are your goals that you're trying to accomplish on the board. And so once you've created a design that meets the requirements on the card, you can play that card out, which gives you potential points for the end of the game. But then the interesting thing is that once you played a design card, then everybody else in the game knows what you're trying to have in place at the end of the game, because they
Mhm.
only score if the structure that you played is still present on the board when the game ends. So you are both trying to create your structures, maintain them for the rest of the game, but also try to mess with the other players to interfere with their own structures. So
Uh,
like highly interactive game,
mhm.
and there has the potential of so many cards to be out. It is a game that starts quite small, and then its table presence slowly expands because of these design cards. Just a fantastic game in my mind. Another great one from DVC Games. And if you like stacking games, but a stacking game that doesn't solely rely on the skill of stacking,
Mhm.
um, it's got it's got a lot going on. I'm going to stop talking for a second, Milo, because I love to ramble. Milo, what did you think of Karnak?
I was really impressed, and it wasn't what I had expected of
Mm,
the game, and I felt like I was still learning to play the game, like halfway through. And it wasn't because I didn't understand the rules or anything, but it was just the like strategy behind it all. And it took a while for me to get used to playing an objective card and like meeting that objective right then and there, and then realizing, oh, wait, if I don't pay attention to like the state of the play mat and make sure that the structure that I've currently built stays this way, I'm not going to get those points at the end. And it like I kept forgetting. So it was interesting to like have to pay attention to not just what you're like building now and working towards and those other objectives, but the old ones that you've already done. You can't forget about those. You have to pay attention. And then also pay attention to what your opponent is doing. Like there was a lot going on, and it was a challenge that I really enjoyed.
If you haven't experienced a DVC game before, they're great. Look them up. They really, like, unlike any other company
Mm,
in the board game industry, they're doing such cool things,
yeah.
and all in these really tiny boxes. Any DVC game would make a great stocking stuffer. But this Karnak, it's new, it's unique, it's thinky, and quite fun. And so go check it out.
We love DVC.
All right, Milo, I think you've got one more stocking stuffer pick for us today.
I do, and I'm very excited. Um, my last pick is Echoes. Echoes is a series, honestly. There's 4 of them that are out here in English, and I believe that there were some releases this year in 2025, in Germany, including a Titanic one.
Oh, yeah.
So Echoes is a tiny little box game for you could do it solo, one person, but I feel like you could honestly do it with like 5 or 6 people too. It might say 4 on the box, but I've played it with like pretty large groups. This game is designed by Ravensburger, and it is a audio mystery game. That is how they describe it. In this game, you'll need to download the companion app, and essentially, there are different tiles and cards in this game that help you uncover a mystery of sorts. These mysteries can include crimes or deaths. They're often very emotional, and there are there are chapters that you have to piece together, the order of events within those chapters, and then after you've solved all the chapters, try to figure out the order in which those chapters took place. So this game is very immersive and really unique, I would say. Like, it's like a little escape room in a box, kind of.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a puzzle of sorts, but because it's all audio, apart from the tiles that you're scanning, and those tiles and cards, like, don't really have a lot of information on them except, like, a picture of something. So it's really I would say just so unique and fun. I've played the 4 of them that are in English now, and I'm really hoping that those German titles that were released this year hopefully get translated eventually so I can play those as well. But I've had such a fun time with them, and I've played them with so many people. I feel like, honestly, if I just wait long enough, I could probably play them again and not remember the answers. So,
Sure, yeah.
yeah. You've played at least one of them, right?
I played one of them.
Okay.
One of my kids found the first of the Echoes games in a game store in a mall
Mhm.
when we were out doing some shopping, and this first box has a little like porcelain ballerina on it,
Right.
and so that was the appeal for one of my daughters,
Hmm.
and she said, "This looks so cute! Can't wait to get this home and play it," and so we played it, and it was not a kid-friendly experience, quite traumatic.
Mm.
I don't wanna reveal any of the story, but, we got to the end and it caused nightmares.
Oh,
It
no.
yeah, it sat on the game shelf for a while, and my eldest kept saying, "Why is that game still in our house? Please get rid of this game. I don't wanna see it anymore. Every time I see that box, it makes me think of what happened in that game." And so I don't know if the other games are as dramatic or traumatic as the first one, but I know I'm excited to play more of them. I'm sure my partner would
Mhm.
absolutely love to dive in. And the concept of the audio mystery, having to piece together what did that sound mean,
Mhm.
and how all the clues fit together is really fascinating. It's a really unique take on that escape room in a box
Yeah.
kind of experience. Um, and Milo, either we need to learn how to speak German, and try out that Titanic version that came out this year. Or come on, Ravensburger, give us an English version of the Titanic one. We would love to try it out. Um, so yeah, echoes, echoes, echoes. Uh,
Echoes, echoes, echoes.
Oh, right. So I've got a third game as well today, and in our stocking stuffer video last year, we featured a really tiny game from an independent publisher in Japan, X First Games, and that game was called Banana Boy versus Unicone,
Mm.
which was a nice twist on a memory game. And so they released another game, or they're about to release it. I'm not sure which. But anyways, this second game is a social deduction game called EFS, the Universal Voting Game. And it's called the Universal Voting Game because we are all aliens
Mm.
that have learned some things about humans and are coming together to report their findings. But secretly, there are humans among us that we do not know. And the game is comprised of a small deck of cards. And on those cards, there are only four different letters. There is E's, F's, S's, and H. And everybody gets three cards, and they have to be three different letters. And it's very likely that there will be some people at the table that have an H in their hand, and that means that they are secretly a human. And so before the game begins, we decide what the E, the F, and the S stand for. And like sort of the default is epic, funky, and smart. But you can come up with your own three adjectives. And then the social part is that the leader, the person who is leading that round, picks a topic. And let's say the topic is, I don't know, fancy holiday socks. Um, and so how do you feel about fancy holiday socks? Well, I feel this way about I think holiday socks are epic.
Mhm.
And Milo might say, "Oh, actually, I think I've got a pair of holiday socks that I think are quite smart."
Mhm.
The conversation doesn't really matter, but it goes on, and it's a fun part of the game. And then once the conversation is done, everybody secretly puts down a card face down that is going to have an E, an F, or an S. The human player will never put their H card down. And then we reveal, and if there's a majority, then the majority of players each get a point. If there's a tie, the leader, whatever card the leader put down, gets a point. And at some point in the game, one of the alien players can call out one of the other players and say, "I think you're a human," and they have to reveal their truth or not. And if they find a human, if the alien players find a humans, then boom, the game immediately ends and the aliens win. And if you get through a full 2 rounds of everybody playing, and no humans are discovered, then either if there is a human in the game, then the humans win and the aliens lose, or it turns out maybe there was no human in the game, and if that's the case, then we count up our points. Whoever's got the most wins the game. And this is another thing we were talking about DBC earlier about how they make really unique games,
Mm.
and X First Games I think it's kind of on the same mold of taking familiar concepts and just making just enough of a unique twist. You've not played EFS, but I would love to see you play this game because
Yeah.
it's so simple. The concept is so simple, but there's just like a goofiness to this game that someone who loves like a game like The Resistance or Avalon or what have you um, would would really have a fun time with this. But someone who doesn't want as much rules overhead to a game
Mhm.
will be able to dive into this game and just have fun with the conversation and the silliness of the voting and trying to suss out the humans and whatnot. So EFS for the second year in a row, X First Games making it onto our stocking stuffer list. And I should say, and I'm sorry, Milo, I'm going to give you a chance to talk, but I should say, this is not a game you're going to find on the shelves of your retail stores. Not quite yet, anyways. So if you're curious to learn more about EFS or Banana Boy versus Unicorn, I'll put a link in the description of this video so that you can learn more about this publisher and this particular game. Any thoughts on this game, Milo?
Yes. I haven't played a full game of EFS, you're right, but I remember walking into the cafe
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at like the beginning of my shift, end of your shift, and
Yep.
there was like a brief period where someone had, like, stepped away and I filled in for them. I think I played, like, maybe a turn or
Oh,
2.
I forgot about that.
So, not like a full game, but I did get a little taste of it, and I think you're right, like, with what you were describing with typical, like, social deduction games, it's very different. It's a lot more relaxed, and I personally don't love social deduction. I find it to be relatively, like, stressful. Yeah, the TISM and social deduction games don't always jive really well. But, because this is, like, so much more relaxed and, in a sense, like, very, very silly, honestly, the conversations that I, like, remember walking into about this game, it made me very curious and want to play, and the couple rounds that I did play, it was really fun, so I would definitely love to play it again, and I think you're right with X First Games, like, I remember playing the game that you mentioned from last year, and it stuck with me. They do take, like, familiar concepts and put a twist on them. I enjoy that.
Okay, Milo, I know I said to only bring 3 games to this filming today, but I'm going to throw in one more for you, a bonus stocking stuffer pick. This one is from Allplay. It's called Lure. This is a fishing game in one of their, one of their classic small box games. And this game, before I go into how it plays, I just want to remark there are so many dice in this box.
Mm.
If you are a dice lover, you are instantly going to just be enamored with the game of Lure. Now, uh, the game itself. The game itself is a game where everyone's got a screen and they've got their dice behind their screen, a whole bunch of dice in their color. And I think the basic structure of the game is I think it's called Splash, Cast, and Fish. So the splash is you reveal new fish cards showing you the kind of fish that we're all trying to lure in. The cast is secretly choosing dice, and there are dice of different sizes and shapes. And then the fish is revealing the dice that we've picked. Whoever puts out the fewest number of dice has the first chance to catch fish. But if you have more dice out there, you have more chances to catch a number of fish. There are bigger dice that you can only use once every other round. So once you use one of those bigger dice, it gets set aside for the next round, and then you get it back to use again. Really simple game, but it's a lot of like simple fun. And if you like dice, if you like blind bidding, if you like the idea of fishing on your table, then Lure's got a lot going on for it. And I love these all play small box games, and
Mhm.
I'll always try to find one of them to talk about in these sorts of videos.
Yeah, I get it. Like, Allplay is uh, you did say to only come with 3, but had I have been able to choose a 4th, mine would have been one of the mini Allplay games. So, what you're referring to was one of their small box
Oh,
games,
because they've
which
got even smaller ones
they
now.
do, they're called
Okay.
mini box
Yeah, yeah.
games, and I would have chosen one of those. There's a couple that I love, so yeah, we love Allplay here.
There we go. There we go. All right. So there you have it. We came with 7 small box games to put into your stockings this year or next year or whenever you watch this video. But I guess what we want to know is what games are you putting into stockings this year? What small games are you gifting to friends, family, acquaintances, or what small games are you hoping to receive this year? If you have a thought on any of those, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and chat with you in that setting. So I think we're at the end, Milo. Not only the end of this video, but I think this is probably going to be our last video for 2025. And we'll be back again soon to talk about how we did in our 2025 challenge, what things we have in store for 2026. And Milo, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's
Oh,
been a good year.
we'll be back again soon. And until then, whether you've got little players,
Or big players
make sure that you keep playing games.
that make your thumbs go
Way
way
up.
up. Bye for now.
Bye. Ow.